Hello and welcome. Now it's time to start some action. We are going to set up our first Docker host. But before that, we have to find out system requirements for Docker hosts. So let's start this. These are recommended requirements. Basically, which kind of container you are hosting inside your Docker host. Based on this, you can decide configuration or system requirements of your Docker host. Here, I am giving you recommended requirements. First, we have to have processor. 64-bit processor with select support is requirement. Then, for normal kind of Docker host requirement, we are using at least 4 GB of RAM, which will give you a decent performance. Then virtualization enable in the BIOS Intel VT-X or AMD V. Now this is the most important part. Let's say that if you are installing Docker host inside your laptop or desktop computer, you have to go to the BIOS. How you can go to the BIOS, it is depend on which kind of system or laptop you are using. In normal circumstances, we are using F2 while we are starting our computer. Then we have to enter into the BIOS. And then from the BIOS, you have to enable Intel VT-X. Or if you have AMD processor, you have to enable AMD virtualization. This is the most important part because in most of the cases, we have 64-bit processor. We have like 8 GB RAM, but here the requirement is only 4 GB. But this Intel VT-X or AMD V is disabled by default. So if you are not able to install Docker host inside your laptop or desktop, you just need to verify that Intel VT-X feature or AMD-V feature must be enabled from your laptop's BIOS or desktop's BIOS. Then disk space. Now disk space is totally depend which kind of images you are going to use for your Docker host. And then finally we have operating system. So we can use any OS like Windows, Mac and Linux. If you are using Windows OS, Windows 10 64-bit version 20H2 or later version 22H2 recommended with Hyper-V or WSL Windows subsystem for Linux to backend. Now if you will use Windows 10 with version 20H2, they have Hyper-V or WSL already there, so you don't need to worry about this. If you are using Windows 11, then no need to worry. You can install Docker host directly or Docker desktop directly inside this. If you are using Mac OS version 10.14 or later is recommended. And for Linux, you have to verify Linux kernel. No matter which kind of Linux you are using, which distributions you are using, like Red Hat, Ubuntu, or SUSE Linux, or CentOS, any Linux distribution is supporting this. But you have to make sure that your kernel version must be 3.10 or higher. Now if you want to verify that which kernel you have inside your Linux operating system, you can give command uname-r, which will provide you detail about your kernel's version. So these are minimum requirements, or we can say that recommended requirement to set up our Docker host. Next is a practical how we can set up Docker host. Thank you very much. See you in the next video. Have a nice day. Goodbye.